Welcome to the Global Interview. Thank you for listening. This is where you can keep up to date with all the latest news and information direct from leading creatives, leaders, and thinkers. We can help to keep you right up to date with all the latest information from interesting people who make a real difference in this globally connected world. You can find out more about the show at theglobalinterview.com. Enjoy the episode. Umesh Luharia is an architect and illustrator who is passionate about buildings and drawing people's homes in his unique style. He has practiced architecture working for a number of well-known practices based in the UK and recently took the opportunity to set up your home portraits and produce portraits of people's homes. His illustrations are carefully composed, and detailed elevations of his clients' homes and sometimes feature stylized portraits of their owners. Each of these portraits are individual and personal, and made with care and detail. His initial work is well regarded, and has growing commission requests whilst he practices architecture during the day, helping to deliver transformational master plans and residential developments. Life is a journey, and what is important will change as you grow and get older. Try to focus on what matters most in life, and that it is the people who care about you and your family. If you can, don't lose your years of your life over committing to unrewarding work, but look at what makes you happy and makes others happy, as this will reap benefits in everyone's well-being and your life balance. Tell us about your current role and what you like about your career/role or areas of focus. I am an architect and illustrator of homes living in Solihull, UK. During the working week as a director of Glen Howells Architects, I manage a team of talented architects designing and delivering high-quality transformational master plans and residential developments for leading developers and clients. My other passion is a recent venture as an illustrator under my Instagram account called Your Home Portraits. I love illustrating my clients' homes as I find it enjoyable and rewarding, but also it helps me grow and learn with every portrait. Each portrait takes around 4 days to illustrate, and I focus on composition, color and detail. I take my time to deliver something crafted as each portrait is different, personal and unique. It is these aspects away from my role as an architect that makes it enjoyable, as it makes people happy, and I find this direct connection with a client rewarding. What inspires you, motivates you, helps you to make each day count? In June 2020, during the COVID pandemic, my inspiration to start Your Home Portraits was a desire to push myself to do something new that challenged me, enabled me to learn, grow and do something creative that was personal and crafted. Despite all the pressures, I felt that this was the right time and didn't believe I would have done this. Life had continued as normal. It seemed natural with my architectural background to do something related that involved illustration, graphics and design. I could have looked at developing my architecture, but an idea formed to move away from a collaborative design environment and to create and respond to a form of art and representation where I could be directly responsible and connect with people. So, I began by searching and connecting to other artists to find what was out there and where I could be. I was apprehensive at first, and being 47 at the time, this was something that was on top of my role as an architect and a father of two. I found inspiration from other artists, and a small community of people developed that is now slowly growing who support and share. This is inspirational, and this other world that I found outside architecture moved me and continues to do so. What also motivates me is my children and the support of my wife. Seeing my children witness that I draw and create at home and not away in an office each day is something that makes me happy and lets them see me in another way that I can share with them. Practicing architecture is also important to me, as it helps me realize the physical and lasting creation of a form of art. Outside of your professional work area, what hobbies or interests do you have, or what other areas of your life are of real importance to you? My family, photography, archery and baking are other aspects of my life that are important to me. I have found late in my life that it is so important to have a balance, as architecture alone can be a very demanding and all-encompassing. With 2 children of 11 and 13, I am really enjoying witnessing them grow into young adults. I feel lucky and privileged to have them, and also have a loving wife that helps make me focus on the important and simple things in life. To us, it is not about trying to get as much money as possible and be materialistic, but have family and friends. I like taking photographs of nature, and this is mainly due to my wife, who curates our garden with some lovely flowers that attract bees and birds. Prior to the pandemic, we were avid members of the National Trust and visited many of the homes and gardens in their ownership. I took up archery to an amateur level, and the discipline to focus, shoot and repeat was something I really enjoyed, along with the community of people that are part of the club I am with. I have missed this through the pandemic and look forward to returning to this and picking up where I left off. Baking is also something I have picked up recently and found this incredibly rewarding. Learning to bake bread is creative, and the result is something you can share with your family. I found it even more so rewarding after following an online baker called Jack Sturgis, also known as Bake with Jack, and then creating bread for my mother-in-law. When it comes to your life-chosen career, is there a phrase, quote, or saying that you really like? I used to work in Bath for an architectural practice that I continue to admire. A former partner of that practice, Richard Fielden, who sadly died, used to say onwards and upwards. His saying makes me believe in hope and to move on positively from an outcome, whether it is positive or not. Also, the poem The Guest House by Rumi reminds me also to accept and be aware of my emotions, whatever they may be, and know that they will pass and open up other opportunities that have meaning. Architecture is very rewarding, but it can be a very challenging roller coaster of emotions with strong personalities and egos where there are highs and lows, so reminding myself to stay positive and keeping focused on what is important is where I go. What are you most proud of in your life? In my architectural career, I have been lucky to work on some amazing buildings that have transformed people's lives, including a free to stay at home, home from home, for the families of military personnel who are receiving treatment at hospitals. That building was for a charity and was opened by Prince Charles, and I was lucky to meet him. Being able to show my mother a photograph of me shaking hands with him and that she could see something of the hard work that she and my father had put in to pay for my choice in career made me proud. I am also proud of my family that have kept me on a straight line. I am truly lucky to have them in my life and am proud of the things they have achieved and the potential I see in my children to build on this. What do you wish you had known when you started out? In my experience of architectural education, I found it served as a foundation, and that practice is where you really learn. I think I could have investigated the real world more before starting in my education. That would have made me more focused, but on the other hand, I feel very lucky being able to live in London, Bath, Oxford and Birmingham in my journey. With my new venture as an illustrator, I think it is too early to say what I wish I had known given I started in 2020, as I am learning every day. Who do you most admire in business, academic or creative circles? In my world of illustration, I would have to say that Mark Turley, who is also known as the Urban Giant, is someone who I greatly admire. He commissioned me to draw a portrait of his home and family, and his ongoing support not just to me but to the wider community of artists is incredible. I have never met a nicer and supportive person who I can call a friend. For architecture, I would have to say Sir Richard Rogers is the architect I admire the most. His building on the City of London called the Lloyd's London Building is the first building that moved me to see the potential that architecture has been the manifestation of an idea or art. It may be considered an ugly building by some, but it made my heart soar by the bravery and boldness of this building along with its significance in the city. What companies, brands, or institutions do you like or do you think are getting it right? With my architect hat on, I would say that in my 18 years so far at Glenn Howells Architects, I have seen the practice evolve into successfully creating beautiful buildings and places that transform people's lives. They take a simple and rational approach to architecture that yields elegant buildings of high quality. Also, Feilden Clegg Bradley Studios are a growing force in designing buildings that consciously look at their impact on the environment. And we now live in a world where it is clear we need to try to minimize our impact on the earth. I also think that yet again, I find myself mentioning those that are out there that help form communities and do things not just for monetary gain, but for passion. Such as Jack Sturgis, as I mentioned earlier, whose baking tips and YouTube videos pulled mine out of dive in confidence in the future, and also Mark Turley, who supports artists and independent business. What is the best advice you have ever received? Don't take anything for granted. What drives or motivates you each day in a work environment? It has to be my family and knowing what I do is for them. What are your thoughts on the future of social media? It will continue to be an important form of communication, and it opened up the way we all connect with one another. However, we need to help ensure that our children find the balance between this world and the physical one. What is your favorite social media platform, and why? It has to be Instagram, as it has helped launch me into the work of illustration and sharing my commissions and work. It has also allowed me to connect with people that I never thought I would connect with around the world. Do you have a mentor, or have you ever been a mentor to anyone? I don't have a mentor, but had two people during my time in university that really helped shape me and my career as an architect, Alan J. Brooks and Martin Wheeler. The care and attention they gave was greatly appreciated. As an illustrator, I greatly appreciate the help and guidance given by Mark Turley, the urban giant. Today, as an architect, I don't mentor people but love to help seeing the younger generation grow and help them along their way to learn about being an architect and giving them opportunities to learn and take responsibility. How do you network? What is your preferred way to network? I generally use Instagram for my illustrations and LinkedIn for my architecture. I would also prefer to meet face to face with people one day after COVID as it's personal and direct. What advice would you have for someone looking to get into the same area of work? For illustration, I would say to your research and don't expect overnight success. It will take time, speculation, and you will make mistakes along the way, but you will also learn as you go. What do you feel is the most common reason for people failing or giving up? I have not had experience here of reasons but do feel that other aspects of life can seem more important when you need to find a balance and also try new things that are for you that make you feel happy and in turn, can make others happy. If you don't try, you will never know if you can do something and you don't want to look back saying you didn't give it a go. How do you define success, and what lessons have you learned so far that you could share with our audience? Success to me is being happy and finding your place in the world with your family behind you, giving your support and love. Life is a journey, and it takes time, which requires being able to talk and share openly with people who care. For me, it is also in anything I have created, whether that be a building, place or illustration, that it improves people's lives and makes them happy. What skills do you feel have helped you to become successful? I think I have had a lot of luck in my life and being able to learn along the way from some great supportive people. Through this, I have picked up skills. I have always tried to work hard, as I have been influenced by my parents, who used to work 7 days a week running a small corner shop for 14 years, living in a 4-bed terraced house with 5 children, 2 grandparents and 2 parents and 1 bathroom. I know that effort is required to reap what you sow, but also in today's world a balance is needed to be healthy both in mind and body. Is there anything new that you are working on or involved in that you would like to share? I continue to work on my illustrations and feel lucky that I am able to create these personal portraits, whether that be for a birthday present, a creation of my own desire, or for a memory of a home someone used to live. Thank you for listening to this episode from The Global Interview. We appreciate your support. If you would like to find out more, please visit theglobalinterview.com.